presented by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo set to call all the action here at the Wells Fargo Championship. We are at Quail Hollow, and Frank, it is really one of the best courses on tour.
It is a great state of North Carolina, where Donna Ross developed so many great courses. They're the sort of courses that we're used to seeing. But this is a relatively new golf course. First opened up in 1961, but it certainly fits in with the North Carolina landscape. Mature trees, holes well cut out, beautiful greens, and interesting finish.
How do you like that finishing stretch? They call it the Green Mile.
Some might think it's purgatory, but I think it's the perfect touch to a great golf course.
So makes the birdie putt, now 1 under for the tournament. Frank, a nice mix of opening holes here at Quail Hollow in the Wells Fargo Championship. Pretty short par 3 here at the second.
180-yard shot. We'll play more like 175 for the half a club downhill. There's much more green on that right side. If you're not too sure what club to hit, then you should stay away from that left side.
Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding. Well, the time is now to start making birdies, and there we go. 1 on the board, and suddenly inside the top 20.
Yeah, nothing to be ashamed of in that, but really, you've got to be aggressive from here on in.
This is a strong par 4, 452 yards, the third hole.
He's loading up on it.
Look at the coil there.
Huge with a capital H.
Moved it a long ways. He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. And this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards.
Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
Good strike right there, right off the center of the face and about 20 feet away. Frank going for another birdie here.
Just to get on a real roll.
You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. It's a -2 early in the round. For those of you just tuning in, we're checking in now on our featured golfer here at the 4th. Frank, you have to be impressed with what you've seen from the golfer so far.
It's rock solid. The ultimate of professional, doing exactly what you should be on a day like today.
Frank, that's as good as I have seen all day long.
I think we've got to blame that on the weather. That weather, the wind had to help that ball give it another 20, 30 yards.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Oh, I thought he had that. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Just a couple of feet. That's 2 under par, playing well. Now to the first par 5 here at Quail Hollow, the 5th hole. It's 570 yards, and it would seem, Frank, that this tee shot sets up well for a guy like Rory McIlroy.
It does. Someone that hits it long and moves the ball right to left, and that's what you're going to have to do here. One of the main reasons for that is not necessarily the dog leg, but the fact that the fairway, Rich, slopes away from you. It slopes to the right and away. So that makes that tee shot so much more difficult.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
That one was running so hot. Set to go. Not an easy shot by any means. Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a run.
Came to the putt excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, little change in the attitude right now. You've let one go. You've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important that this one goes in.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Now at 1 under for the round. Now set to tee off at the 6th. It is a long par 3, 250 yards.
We could take a little bit off for the downhill, but whichever way you look at it, it's still going to be a beefy par 3. Protected on the left by that front bunker, and if you sort of scoot one long, there's another bunker over there as well.
Good swing, good shot yet again. Oh my goodness, Frank. I think that baby went in. Well, Frank, an eagle is in play here at the par 5-7.
And a 6, and a 7, and an 8, or a 9, actually. This is a potential scorecard record, the 7th hole. Many a tee shot has found that creek on the right, trees, problems on the left. There's no question there's a reward for a good tee shot here. But then there's a decision on do you go for this par 5 and 2. It's not overly long, just over 530 yards. It is very tempting.
Well, that's just a tee to green clinic, a seminar on how to do it the right way. Every single green in regulation.
This one you thought it was going to be an average week. Eagle there to vault into the top 10.
Frank, in modern professional golf, we're seeing more and more drivable par 4s, like the 8th here at Quail Hollow, 350 yards. What do you think of this hole?
It's not a bad hole. Drivable, some might say, but the angle of the green means it's hard for that tee shot to keep on the green. But I think the reward for hitting a driver is try and sort of aim at that tree just left of the green. And the reason why is then you've got to pitch up the direction of the green. This is a really narrow green.
Certainly had enough power, just didn't have any touch. And he's made the green.
It's no snack, though.
What a beautiful roll right there, dead center. Well, Frank, what do you think of the 9th hole here at Quail Hollow?
Oh, I think it's a beauty, Rich. One of those long, nice drawing tee shots. 500 yards is a par 4. You have to hit a good drive down there. The fairway doesn't camber that much. The hole does dogleg to the left. Big advantage for a big tee shot here.
Wow, Frank, look at that one run out. Just blistered that tee shot.
That has to be 325 if it's an inch.
Good chance at one. Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on there. Easy birdie.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus.
And just moving that much closer to the leader now, Rich.
Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back.
Nicely played shot, about 310 yards down the fairway. Okay, the second shot now at this par 5. Just a gutsy shot right there, and a good look at eagle coming up. This will be a 14-foot putt here.
Oh, Rich, is that an eagle?
That is an eagle, and that is a move all the way up to second place.
That's the doozy.
Back here at the par 4 11th at Quail Hollow, set to tee off. What's the right game plan here, Frank?
Oh, there's two, really. That left bunker off the tee, it's about 265 yards to get it on the fairway, or 308 yards, 310 yards run out there. I've seen players just try and carry the bunker, sort of set up a short iron, and I've seen players like Rory McIlroy just try and blast a driver with a hook on it. Both strategies have worked.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play, very solid. Beautiful shot. That is tight.
Unbelievable. That is one to savor for the rest of the round.
Really hitting on all cylinders now. 9 under for the tournament. Here we are now at the 12th, and Frank, this is a beautiful but dangerous hole, par 4.
It is in a number of ways. The hole bends gently to the right, which you'd think would favor a nice little fade, but the fairway just seems to shrink up. I've seen this fairway missed by so many good players. And plus its yardage, 450 odd. You can't really lay back too far, otherwise you've got too long for your second shot.
Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one. I mean, that's how the game is played, right there.
He's just making it look so easy. That birdie coming up, formality.
That's a birdie. That's a good position from which to make a weekend move, comfortably inside the cut line, still with plenty of time left in this tournament. Now to the par 3 13th hole. Frank, this one 210 yards.
Very, very good par 3. This is actually a big green. It's 37 yards deep, but it actually plays small. There's a front right portion, there's a roll-off area in the middle, and there's a roll-off area in the back. So don't be deceived by the size of this green. You better be pitching that tee shot right bang in the middle.
A sensational shot right there, Frank.
Oh, you start beating your chest after a shot like that. That's the best we've seen into this hole today.
Well, the great hits just keep coming. Moves to minus 11 on the day. Well, Frank, as we arrive at the par 4 14th, just 345 yards, our players no doubt are looking for a little advice from a guy who's been there. You've done it at the highest level. What's the right play here?
Rich, after all these years, I think it's like a modified tee shot. And what I'm going to say with that is like a strong 3-wood, something that pitches around 270 and kicks 30 or 40 yards, finishes up about 20 yards short of the green. I think that's the best for it. You won't be able to get at all the flags, but I think you play the hole under par for the week.
When's the right time to pull out the big driver and have a go at this green?
I don't think there is, but maybe you at home should try.
Now teed up at the 15th hole. It is the final par 5 here at Quail Hollow, 577 yards. And Frank, I remember this hole well. McIlroy stiffed the 5-iron on his way to making eagle, his first PGA Tour win. That came back in 2010.
And the opportunity exists again here. Under 600 yards, plays downhill off the tee. Those two bunkers on the right are perfectly situated. That second one about 310 yards to it. So something straight at that one with a little draw will set up that mid-iron or long iron that has to be hit very high and uphill.
Appears to be tracking well. That is a really good shot landing close to the flagstick. Frank, it's one thing to jumpstart your round. This would ignite the round.
Yeah, you don't normally see two par fives back-to-back, so the chances of having consecutive eagles is so rare.
Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
And getting ready for the putt. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. This is the start of what some say is the toughest finishing stretch on the PGA Tour. It's known as the Green Mile. Frank, what makes it so challenging?
Well, this hole in particular, Rich, the dogleg right, it means it plays every inch of it's just over 500 yards. That bunker you can see down the right, 325 yards to carry that. If you can fly the ball that far, at least you can chew off 2/3 of this hole, and that is well required here. Otherwise, it's a long, long second shot.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
This is a good-looking shot. See if you can get this one to drop here at the 16th for a birdie. These putts keep the round together. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. Just 2 holes remaining here at Quail Hollow in Charlotte, North Carolina, the 17th.
And they have a multitude of tees here. One of the new back tees is actually where the old 16th green was. And if you think don't go left is the way to play, then that won't work either, because right's not that much good. This is it. Stand on the tee, and you better hit a good shot.
And in for birdie. Now to the finishing hole here at Quail Hollow. Frank, what can we expect?
If there was a name for this hole, Rich, it should be called Narrows. The creek that meanders its way down the left side and actually divides that hole into really half the size of what a normal par 4 should be. That makes it hard. The bunker on the right is your bailout area. Just over 290 yards to get past that, and then the narrowest green that still sits up against the lake. This is just a brutal finish.
Terrific golf shot, and now that for an easy birdie. That's how you keep a round going, making from that distance. Well, Frank, round 1 in the books. Look who's on top of the leaderboard.
And that's with some strong play today. They don't really need to look back. Strong play heading into the second round tomorrow.
This is EA Sports coverage of the PGA Tour. And we welcome you to one of the most popular golf courses on the PGA Tour. It is Quail Hollow. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Frank, it is just starting to heat up out on the golf course. Fans are streaming in, anticipating a highly contested event with the best golfers in the world.
One reason the fans love this course so much, Rich, the green mile. It's fine to have a good golf course, but it's got to have a great finish. It's got a great finish, then it becomes a great golf course. Quail Hollow has that great finish of 16, 17, and 18.
Good swing, good shot yet again. Just a case of a hole suiting the player's eye. Made the birdie yesterday, and he has a good chance to make another one today.
Great start.
Frank, a nice mix of opening holes here at Quail Hollow in the Wells Fargo Championship. Pretty short par 3 here at the second.
180-yard shot. Will play more like 175 for the half a club downhill. There's much more green on that right side. If you're not too sure what club to hit, then you should stay away from that left side.
Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. Birdie here yesterday. This putt again for birdie. Has it for another birdie. 2 holes, 2 birdies. Frank, here at the third, players facing a challenging tee shot.
For a number of reasons, Rich. 1, that the hole bends to the left. 2, that the fairway starts to run out. And 3, the length of the second shot. You get rewarded the better you hit your tee shot down here.
Oh, look out, Frank. Where's this one headed?
This is definitely rough, Rich, off the tee.
So in the first cut here, it could be worse. Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Well, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot.
Frank, this is the kind of start every player wants.
Yeah, swinging it well. Certainly hitting the ball in the right place there. And, yep, good thing, too. He's actually putting well.
Well, this one has a chance to be really good. He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. And this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards. That is superbly executed inside of 5 feet. Just a sensational approach shot. Just slides by.
Yeah, can't afford to miss too many of those out here today.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Those keep the round going, those par putts. Here we are at the par 5 fifth. It's 570 yards. Frank, this should be reachable for most players, don't you think?
Yeah, if you hit a good tee shot, especially with the draw, it will be. But the hardest part of this is judging that kick on the fairway that kicks the ball to the right. And it sort of turns at that awkward area at where the top of your tee shot range. That's where that dogleg is.
Second shot to the par 5 fifth here at Quail Hollow. Frank, a chance to get to the green in 2.
Rich, it's well protected by those 2 front bunkers. Neither one are really that bad. And there's a few little humps and hollows on the screen, but if you can actually keep it on the putting surface, that's extremely good. But nothing wrong with being in one of those 2 front bunkers.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. Oh, man.
You just pushed it.
And that hurts. See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie. Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
From about 8 feet. Frank, this is where you know that players like Bubba Watson, Dustin Johnson, Rory McIlroy are playing a different game than guys like me. They step up to this 250-yard par 3 and they might hit 5-iron. It is a little downhill, but they might be with a middle iron. So a lot of us would be with a driver.
Well, you see the advantage of that power on this very hole, not just because of the length they got to hit it, but the green they're heading into. This green slopes off in both directions, right and left, so you have to land that ball in the middle of the green. So, yeah, it's a big advantage if you can go at this hole with like a 5-iron.
Oh, my goodness, he just missed that. And that was almost tap-in distance. Didn't fare too well on this hole yesterday. Made a bogey. Good putt. Well, Frank, an eagle is in play here at the par 5 7th.
And a 6, and a 7, and an 8, or a 9, actually. This is a potential scorecard record, the 7th hole. Many a tee shot has found that creek on the right, trees, problems on the left. There's no question there's a reward for a good tee shot here. But then there's a decision on do you go for this par 5 and 2. It's not overly long, just over 530 yards. It is very tempting. Great Bobby Jones used to say the hardest shot in golf's the next one. Judging by that light, it's not going to be too hard.
Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot.
That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. And he's made it for eagle. Frank, I love a drivable par 4. In the modern power game, it really adds an element of excitement. And here we go at the 350-yard par 4-8.
Well, you're definitely going to love this one then, Rich, because it ticks all the boxes here. There's no water in play, just a few bunkers down the left and the one that protects the right side of the green. And you've got a really narrow green, so plenty of reward with minimal risk. There's always advantage of hitting it further than most, Rich, and straighter than most. When you put the two together, it's just straight up a head start.
Birdie try up next. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Just a couple of feet. Good roll. Frank, this is a really good way to finish out the front side here at Quail Hollow. 495-yard par 4.
Yeah, it's the longest par 4 at Quail Hollow. Some say it might be the toughest. I'm not quite in that camp. And the reason why, that green slopes in from both sides, the left and the right. But you can see why good drivers have done well here, because there's a big reward for thumping a big, long, straight drive down here.
Now it's right in his wheelhouse. Good position where he can attack the pin.
Yeah, he has all those options now. With that ball sitting up, you can bring it in high, you can bring it in low. The choice is yours.
That is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
That's a birdie. And that's a good position from which to make a weekend move, comfortably inside the cut line, still with plenty of time left in this tournament. Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back. That club must have melted after that one. Second shot.
Oh, no, look out, Frank. I think he flushed that one.
Oh, this is going, gone.
Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
You wonder what he was thinking on that.
And it makes the green in regulation. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Back here at the par 4 11th at Quail Hollow, set to tee off. What's the right game plan here, Frank?
Oh, there's two, really. That left bunker off the tee, it's about 265 yards to get it on the fairway, or 308 yards, 310 yards run out there. I've seen players just try and carry the bunker, sort of set up a short iron, and I've seen players like Rory McIlroy just try and blast a driver with a hook on it. Both strategies have worked.
Good swing, good shot yet again. Birdie try up next. Just 5 feet left. Frank, this is a player in full flight right now.
It looks too easy right now.
Frank, I think the mark of a good golf course design, changing directions. We go from a right to left hole, now at the 12th, to a left to right hole.
Yeah, there's no two holes at Quail Hollow that look the same. And this one's slightly downhill. Fairway tilts a little bit to the right. And it's a bit of a sleeper. And plus you add in on top of that 450 yards plus. This is a fairway that has to be hit.
Second shot. Good look at the green. Steady all day long. That one about 20 feet away. He'll settle. Birdie chance here. Very long putt, though.
Got to be a little careful if it gets away on him.
How does that not go in?
Amazing. Stroke looked good. Line looked good. Just did not take that final break. When you consider the length of that putt, it was a good putt.
Well, that's disappointing. He misses the par putt, and he'll have this for bogey. This for him would be one drop shot. That's a bogey, but that probably won't hurt. Now to the par 3 13th hole. Frank, this one 210 yards.
Very, very good par 3. This is actually a big green. It's 37 yards deep, but it actually plays small. Has a front right portion. There's a roll-off area in the middle, and there's a roll-off area in the back. So don't be deceived by the size of this green. You better be pitching that tee shot right bang in the middle.
Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. Wow, Frank, this is a really good little par 4, isn't it, the 14th?
It is, and this is where one of those strong 3-woods comes in. The last 50 or 60 yards is the ball kicks down and towards the left, and it sounds like an aggressive play, but like a hard 3-wood trying to run it down there is actually not a bad play.
Is it drivable?
It is drivable, but it's whether it's worth the risk.
Really in control of this hole. Birdie yesterday and another opportunity on the way. Oh, yes, that's an eagle. What Rory McIlroy did here in 2010, that final round, 62.
I certainly do, Rich. That was an amazing run on the second 9. And holes like this, too. He just stood up here with a driver and just obliterated it down there with a nice draw. Took those bunkers out of play and just set up a mid-iron.
Excellent start off the tee. That's a great way to begin this hole. Second from an excellent lie. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. The bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
On the green, and looking at a birdie opportunity. Getting set now over the putt. No problems there.
Yeah, keeps the round going. Keeps the momentum on his side.
At last, we have arrived at the start of one of the most daunting finishing stretches in all of golf. They call it the Green Mile, 16, 17, and 18 here at Quail Hollow. The 16th is a par 4, 508 yards, Frank.
And this hole was made even more difficult when they pushed that green further left to bring the water more in play with the second shot. I mean, it's a great par 4. It's strong in every single department.
Appears to be tracking well. Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. Now this for birdie. Came away with par in the previous round. Right in the heart. Frank, this is all you want in a par 3, especially late in the round. You have to carry the water. You have to deal with the pressure. At 221 yards, this requires a player's very best.
On the process of elimination, don't go long, don't go left, don't go short, and right is marginal. It doesn't leave you with much.
Put a birdie on the card here yesterday, don't forget. Birdie try again here today. Count that. That's a birdie. Here we are, the 18th hole at Quail Hollow. Simply put, Frank, a player needs to hit maybe his...
He goes after it like he is here.
I mean, that is one of the hardest drives I've ever seen. Just let it rip. That's an absolute tracer right there. In the fairway and well over 320 yards. Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot. Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Well, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot.
There you have it. The second round is complete. Another solid effort put together, and it shows on the scorecard.
And after 2 rounds, you really start to see not only who's playing well, but who's consistent.
This is EA Sports, PGA Tour coverage coming your way. What really sets Quail Hollow apart here at the Wells Fargo Championship, the brutal finishing stretch. They call it the Green Mile, and we are excited to bring you all of the tournament action. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Novello. It's nice to roll in a 25-footer now and then. Those feel good. But still, there's nothing like hitting that perfect tee ball. Long and straight.
Yeah, you can puff out your chest, last to play, the advantage, hole shorter. Basically, the list goes on.
What a display of shot making this has been, Frank.
That incredible approach shot there. The easiest of birdies coming up. A great start.
Frank, a nice mix of opening holes here at Quail Hollow in the Wells Fargo Championship. Pretty short par 3 here at the second.
180-yard shot. Will play more like 175 for the half a club downhill. There's much more green on that right side if you're not too sure what club to hit. And you should stay away from that left side.
This hole really sets up well for the player. Birdie yesterday and a chance for another one today. That one drops for a birdie. Moving on to the third hole now. It's a par 4, 452 yards.
Big sweeping dogleg left, and the fairway actually goes in the opposite direction of the dogleg. Must hit a good tee shot for two reasons. One, to find the fairway, and also the length of this hole, over 450 yards.
It is nice to have that one in your bag, to be able to hit it that long.
Yeah, that has to be at least 315 yards.
Good-looking shot right here. Superb shot.
Well, it's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one.
He really likes this hole. Made birdie yesterday. Can he do it again today? And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Frank, this is a muscular par 4 here at just under 490 yards, the fourth at Quail Hollow. A difficult proposition.
It is, but fortunately that tee shot plays a little downhill. But one of the difficulties with the tee shot is the fairway kicks from right to left. So it needs a good one to keep it on the fairway, and another green that has 3 different levels.
Wow, he moved that a long ways right in the fairway. Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on that. Easy birdie.
Settles in over the putt. Simple, solid, and he'll take it.
But one that you need to make.
Now to the first par 5 here at Quail Hollow, the fifth hole. It's 570 yards, and it would seem, Frank, that this tee shot sets up well for a guy like Rory McIlroy.
It does. Someone that hits it long and moves the ball right to left, and that's what you're going to have to do here. One of the main reasons for that is not necessarily the dogleg, but the fact that the fairway, Rich, slopes away from you. It slopes to the right and away. So that makes that tee shot so much more difficult.
You can't hide the flagstick from that man.
He is just unbelievable. That never deviated offline.
Just slides by.
Yeah, can't afford to miss too many of those out here today.
This would be nice. A birdie on the card. See if he can make it. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Wow, Frank, this is all you want in a par 3. 250 yards here at the 6th.
Hey, that's what these guys need, especially in a PGA championship. Fortunately, the hole plays a little bit downhill, but 250, whichever way you cut it, is a big par 3.
Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
You wonder what he's thinking on that second shot.
Pretty good shot right there. Good chance here. Currently at 5 under par. So frustrating sometimes on the greens, isn't it? Drop shot here at the 6th. So just a formality.
In this situation, Rich, a bogey's not all that bad. Still has the lead.
Frank, there's a lot to chew on.
In today's game, 530 is incredibly short. I mean, look at the trouble in front of you. Water all the way down the right side and around that right side of the green. Bunkers left. This is not for the faint of heart.
Can't ask for much more here at the 7th. He has hit a good one.
Well, with a good shot here, Rich, I tell you, this eagle on the cards, hole very reachable from where he is.
Don't get many opportunities like this. This is a good place to take advantage. Here we go. Beautiful shot. That is tight.
Unbelievable. That is one to savor for the rest of the round.
Get in for eagle. Out of the short par 4-8 here at Quail Hollow, just 350 yards. Frank, players can lay it up and just hit a little baby wedge into the green, but why not go for it in one, try to make something happen?
I think both plans work well, Rich. This is one of those holes, the more you think about it, the more complicated it gets. If you're going to lay it up, lay it up. If you're going to go for it, just aim at that tree and hit it down there. Just take your medicine.
On the green, and looking at a birdie opportunity. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Good putt. Frank, this is a really good way to finish out the front side here at Quail Hollow. 495-yard par 4.
Yeah, it's the longest par 4 at Quail Hollow. Some say it might be the toughest. I'm not quite in that camp. And the reason why, that green slopes in from both sides, the left and the right. But you can see why good drivers have done well here, because there's a big reward for thumping a big, long, straight drive down here.
I mean, he just blasted it down the fairway, well over 325 yards. Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Okay, no problem with that one. Excellent front side, trying to keep it going here on the second 9.
He's just playing beautifully, hitting so many good shots, giving himself so many opportunities. Can he keep it going?
Excellent start off the tee. That's a great way to begin this hole. Second from an excellent lie. Well, it's obvious he is in complete command of his golf ball right now. Not a gimme, but well within his range. That had to really hurt, Frank, because it looked good all the way.
Well, this will test his mettle.
Birdie try again here today. Had a nice birdie on this hole yesterday. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie. And what a day it's been. Now to the par 4 11. Frank, what do you think of this hole?
It's an interesting hole, Rich, and I'm curious to see how aggressive players will play here today. The easy way, obviously, is just hit it down the right side and set up a nice second shot with a short iron. Or the most fun way is to take the big stick out and try and bite off as much of that corner as you choose, but be prepared to pay the price should it not come off.
Just a case of a hole suiting the player's eye. Made the birdie yesterday, and he has a good chance to make another one today. And in for birdie. Par 4 12 here at Quail Hollow, 456 yards. Frank, break it down for us.
Well, there's no fairway bunkers either side, so you feel like there's nothing to work the ball off, and consequently, it's very easy to sneak it in the rough on the left or the right. And then that makes that second shot so much more difficult going up the hill. This is one hole that you have to pick a line on. You really have to know you line off the tee. There's a nice big tree down there in the distance. That's the one you want to work it off.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Man,
he just pushed it.
Well, that hurts. And getting ready for the putt. That's how you keep a round going. Make them from that distance. Here we are at the par 3 13th hole. It's 210 yards. What does it take here, Frank?
It's one actually where you'd rather be conservative than aggressive here. And the reason why is this green tends to roll off at the back and the front and the middle there. So it's just something that pitches more in the central part of the green is really what's required.
Good, clean contact and a nice result. And a chance for birdie coming up. Came to the putt excited to make birdie. Now settle for par.
Yeah, little change in the attitude right now. You've let one go. You'll really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important this one goes in.
Well, Frank, as we arrive at the par 4 14th, just 345 yards, our players no doubt are looking for a little advice from a guy who's been there. You've done it at the highest level. What's the right play here?
Rich, after all these years, I think it's like a modified tee shot. And what I'm going to say with that is like a strong 3-wood, something that pitches around 270 and kicks 30 or 40 yards, finishes up about 20 yards short of the green. I think that's the best ploy. You won't be able to get at all the flags, but I think you'll play the hole under par for the week.
When's the right time to pull out the big driver and have a go at this green?
I don't think there is, but maybe you at home should try.
That's good work right there. Just a tap in. He's made it. Wow, Frank, this is a really good little par 4, isn't it, the 14th?
It is, and this is where one of those strong 3-woods comes in. And the last 50 or 60 yards is the ball kicks down and towards the left, and it sounds like an aggressive play, but like a hard 3-wood trying to run it down there is actually not a bad play.
Is it drivable?
It is drivable, but it's whether it's worth the risk.
Good tee shot, right in the fairway, and plenty long. Going with the lob wedge here. Solid shot right there, 15 feet away.
It's no snap, though.
Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
Just a couple of feet. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. At last, we have arrived at the start of one of the most daunting finishing stretches in all of golf. They call it the Green Mile, 16, 17, and 18 here at Quail Hollow. The 16th is a par 4, 508 yards, Frank.
And this hole was made even more difficult when they pushed that green further left to bring the water more in play with the second shot. I mean, it's a great par 4. It's strong in every single department.
Well, you can hear it right off the center of the club face. This has a chance to be close. Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot in there. Easy birdie.
Birdie here yesterday, and to do it again today. Ah, you always like that. Count it as a birdie. Frank, the 17th here at Quail Hollow. It is all you want.
And a bit more, actually. The only advantage the player has, it plays a little bit downhill. But when you look at the lake in front of you, if there's any swirling breeze out there, it just becomes a nightmare trying to choose the right play.
Really in control of this hole. Birdie yesterday and another opportunity on the way. Getting set now over the putt.
A good solid stroke there. No sign of nerves on that.
Here we are, the 18th hole at Quail Hollow. Simply put, Frank, a player needs to hit maybe his best tee shot of the day.
I would agree with you, Rich. If you were to measure this hole from trees on the left to trees on the right, it's actually a really wide fairway or expansive land. But that creek that just meanders its way through the middle of this hole completely changes the nature of this hole. And consequently, you hit the nail on the head. If you don't hit a good tee shot, you will rack up something here. And I have got no idea how big it would be.
That appeared to be a good strike right there, Frank.
Oh, good. It's just towering. Look at that hanging in the sky.
He has just hammered this drive here at the 18th, and now he is in a really good position to make a birdie here on the final hole. So this is where club selection becomes much more important. Uphill, make sure you have enough stick, and then swing away. Should be pretty good right there on the safe side. I mean, that's how the game is played, right there.
He's just making it look so easy. That birdie coming up, formality.
And drops it in. Nothing quite like the final round of a hotly contested championship, and this one could be a doozy.
And there's nothing quite like that leaderboard I'm looking at right now. We are going to have some amazing golf. This one is going to have to be won.
This is EA Sports PGA Tour coverage coming up next. Thanks for joining us here today in Charlotte, North Carolina for the final round of the Wells Fargo Championship. Frank, what do we have out here today?
Well, if history has a chance of repeating itself, remember those great closing rounds by Rory McIlroy, that 62, that was one of the best rounds ever shot that year. Back in 2010, and of course that playoff too. Ricky Fowler back in 2012. We actually beat out then world number one Rory McIlroy with that stunning drive down the finishing hole and brilliant wedge to a tight flag. This golf course, it can give it, it can take it away, but for us, from where we're sitting, Rich, we'll enjoy the view today.
No doubt about it.
Great start.
Frank, a nice mix of opening holes here at Quail Hollow in the Wells Fargo Championship. Pretty short par 3 here at the second.
180-yard shot. We'll play more like 175 for the half a club downhill. There's much more green on that right side. If you're not too sure what club to hit, then you should stay away from that left side.
Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Well, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot.
Score that a birdie. This is a strong par 4, 452 yards, the third hole. It's a good challenge, Frank.
It is. Big sweeping dogleg left. Actually in a straight line. It's 315, 320 yards to run out. So if you hit the ball further than that, it's going to have to draw. Otherwise you'll be hitting in the rough on the other side. Still a lengthy shot under there on a green that actually has 3 different levels.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
This is a good-looking shot. Oh, can't hide the flag stick from that man. Birdie try again here today. Frank, this game will drive you crazy.
Yeah, you can do so many things right, and then just something so simple, completely wrong.
And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Now to the fourth hole here at Quail Hollow, just under 490 yards.
Yeah, they used to have the tee on the right side, which actually made that tee shot very uncomfortable. When they put the new tee box in on the left side, it's a little easier to hit that fairway because that fairway slopes from right to left.
Split the fairway with that. Just a gorgeous swing. Frank, what are we looking at here on the second shot to the fourth?
Another green with 3 different levels. This time, though, the green runs away a lot from the right towards the left. You cannot afford to miss the green on the right.
Birdie try up next. Settles in over the putt. No problems there.
Yeah, keeps the round going, keeps the momentum on his side.
Now to the first par 5 here at Quail Hollow, the fifth hole. It's 570 yards, and it would seem, Frank, that this tee shot sets up well for a guy like Rory McIlroy.
It does. Someone that hits it long and moves the ball right to left, and that's what you're going to have to do here. One of the main reasons for that is not necessarily the dogleg, but the fact that the fairway, Rich, slopes away from you. It slopes to the right and away. So that makes that tee shot so much more difficult.
That one is bunker bound, it looks like. In the bunker, still with a chance for an up and down. Well, in the sand, but it has been raked nicely, looking for something positive. Get down. Look out.
It's over. The green.
Just averted danger right there. So close.
Why does he have all the luck?
Birdie chance here. Very long putt, though.
Got to be a little careful if it gets away on him.
Well, you couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. That is a solid par putt. Frank, this is where you know that players like Bubba Watson, Dustin Johnson, Rory McIlroy are playing a different game than guys like me. They step up to this 250-yard par 3 and they might hit 5-iron. It is a little downhill, but they might be with a middle iron where a lot of us would be with a driver.
Well, you see the advantage of that power on this very hole, not just because of the length they got to hit it, but the green they're heading into. This green slopes off in both directions, right and left, so you have to land that ball in the middle of the green. So, yeah, it's a big advantage if you can go at this hole with like a 5-iron.
So in the first cut here, it could be worse. How about that shot? From that lie to get it that close, tremendous effort. These putts keep the round together. Good putt. Frank, there's a lot to chew on here as you get to the tee at the 532-yard par 5/7.
In today's game, 530 plus change you'd think is incredibly short. And look at the trouble in front of you. Water all the way down the right side and around that right side of the green. Bunkers left. This is not for the faint of heart.
Can't ask for much more here at the 7th. He has hit a good one. Frank, here we are at another par 5. Second shot to the 7th. Is it time to go pedal to the metal?
Yeah, this is the shortest of the 4 par 5s, and this second shot has to be respected. Left obviously isn't ideal, but it's still better than letting the ball go to the right.
That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look.
Didn't fare too well on this hole yesterday. Made a bogey. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Well, Frank, an eagle is in play here at the par 5/7.
And a 6, and a 7, and an 8, or a 9, actually. This is a potential scorecard record, the 7th hole. He is winding this one up. Does he have the power, though? Ball just took off the face.
Nicely played shot, about 310 yards down the fairway. Chance to get it close here. What a turn of events. Just turned this round upside down. Started off slow, but then managed to pick up the pace and back on track now. Chance for birdie after that beautiful shot. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. Here we are at the 9th hole at Quail Hollow, 495-yard par 4. Frank, it is the longest par 4 on the golf course. Is it, in your estimation, the toughest?
I think the green stops it from being the toughest, Rich, because it does kick in from either side. But when you see holes like this, there's no surprise why the Rory McIlroys and the Ricky Fellas are won around here. This is just a great driving par 4.
Interesting, with the almost space-age advancements in golf equipment, what with new, lighter materials, and with the increased focus on fitness and strength, players are hitting the ball longer than ever. That has forced architects to lengthen the golf courses without sacrificing the integrity or the shot value of the original design. Beautiful shot. That is tight.
Unbelievable. That is one to savor for the rest of the round.
That shot falls for a birdie. Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back.
In the fairway here at the 10th, nice way to start off the back 9. Going with the lob wedge here.
Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
Put a birdie on the card here yesterday, don't forget. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either.
You'd like that one again.
Tough start to the backside, Frank.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well, too. You start losing confidence with the putter early on. Really solid stroke.
Now to the par 4 11. Frank, what do you think of this hole?
It's an interesting hole, Rich, and I'm curious to see how aggressive players will play here today. The easy way, obviously, is just hit it down the right side and set up a nice second shot with a short iron. Or the most fun way is to take the big stick out and try and bite off as much of that corner as you choose, but be prepared to pay the price should it not come off.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Birdie here yesterday. This putt again for the... Here we are now at the 12th, and Frank, this is a beautiful but dangerous hole, par 4.
It is in a number of ways. The hole bends gently to the right, which you'd think would favour a nice little fade, but the fairway just seems to shrink up. I've seen this fairway missed by so many good players. And plus its yardage, 450 odd. You can't really lay back too far, otherwise you've got too long for your second shot.
And he's set up for his second shot here, looking to knock it on the green. Throwing darts just inside of 5 feet. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Here we are at the par 3 13th hole. It's 210 yards. What does it take here, Frank?
It's one actually where you'd rather be conservative than aggressive here. And the reason why is this green tends to roll off at the back and the front and the middle there. So it's just something that pitches more in the central part of the green is really what's required.
Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. Par yesterday, now for birdie. And he has it for birdie. Well, now we come to the really interesting 345-yard par 4 14th. Frank, I'm thinking that if you're leading, you're probably not going to try to drive this and take on the risk with the water on the left. But if you're behind, you have a chance to make up some ground.
Yeah, I have it written in my yardage book, Rich, on this hole. Only good and bad things happen with a driver. Nothing in between.
All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
Well, really you have to look at the amount of green you got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
You see that kind of work from the bunker? You think of the greats like Seve Ballesteros and Gary Player, the best bunker players of all time. Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it is going to hurt the cause.
Frank, you hate to miss it from that distance.
More than a setback there.
Just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
So just a formality here. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
We're now teed up at the 15th hole. It is the final par 5 here at Quail Hollow, 577 yards. And Frank, I remember this hole well. McIlroy stiffed a 5-iron on his way to making eagle, his first PGA Tour win. That came back in 2010.
And the opportunity exists again here. Under 600 yards, plays downhill off the tee. Those two bunkers on the right are perfectly situated. That second one about 310 yards to it. So something straight at that one with a little draw will set up that mid-iron or long iron that has to be hit very high and uphill.
Now the all-important approach to this, the final par 5 at Quail Hollow. Had a birdie here yesterday, in there close. Great opportunity for another one. Shouldn't be a problem here.
Just a little bit of a misread there. We surmise.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Continues to roll the ball very well. At last, we have arrived at the start of one of the most daunting finishing stretches in all of golf. They call it the Green Mile, 16, 17, and 18 here at Quail Hollow. The 16th is a par 4, 508 yards, Frank.
And this hole was made even more difficult when they pushed that green further left to bring the water more in play with the second shot. I mean, it's a great par 4. It's strong in every single department.
This is the second shot at the par 4. Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. You can't hide the flagstick from that man.
He is just unbelievable, that never deviated offline.
Everybody loves him. Birdie on the card. Frank, this is all you want in a par 3, especially late in the round. You have to carry the water. You have to deal with the pressure. At 221 yards, this requires a player's very best.
On the process of elimination, don't go long, don't go left, don't go short, and right is marginal. It doesn't leave you with much.
Good, clean contact and a nice result. And a chance for birdie coming up. Trying to make yet another birdie. Oh, I thought he had that. Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Here we are, the 18th hole at Quail Hollow. Simply put, Frank, a player needs to hit maybe his best tee shot of the day.
I would agree with you, Rich. If you were to measure this hole from trees on the left to trees on the right, it's actually a really wide fairway or expansive land. But that creek that just meanders its way through the middle of this hole completely changes the nature of this hole. And consequently, you get the nail on the head. If you don't hit a good tee shot, you will rack up something here. And I've got no idea how big it'll be.
Little uphill to this green, Frank. I mean, that's how the game is played, right there.
He's just making it look so easy. That birdie coming up, formality.
This is to win the Wells Fargo Championship. What a day of golf we saw out there today at Quail Hollow. Outstanding win for this young golfer. Frank, what's your takeaway?
Rich, we can see why Quail Hollow has cemented its place on the PGA Tour roster. This is a golf course that gives us every type of shot that the viewer would like to see and the player would like to hit.
Well said, Frank. For all of us here at EA Sports, I'm Rich Lerner saying so long from the Wells Fargo Championship.